Hello and welcome. My name is Sunny. I am Sunlight Curriculum's Community Manager, as well as a Sunlight mom of two children. And today we are going to talk about why you may want to plan for your next school year now. At Sunlight, we think that spring is the perfect time to figure out what you're doing for your next school year, even if you don't plan to start that school year for 4 or 5 months. So let's dive into some of the reasons this might be a good idea for you. The first one being that you are still in the middle of a school year. So whether you're considering pulling kids out of school or you're already homeschooling, if you started school back in August or September, you probably still have some more weeks to get through for this year. So next year may not even be on your radar yet, but because you're still in the middle of this year, you have a really clear perspective on what's working and what's not. Do you want to keep things the same, or do you need to change some things up a bit? So this can be anything from the time of day that you homeschool, to how you organize your books or your school supplies, to changing up your actual curriculum. So maybe your math program just isn't working, or science, or history, or anything else. When everything is fresh in your mind, it's easier to make decisions on how you want to move forward. You'll have plenty of time to consider multiple solutions. So don't be afraid to think outside the box. In our house, we're all night owls, and we discovered that trying to homeschool in the morning just does not work for us. When our kids sleep until they naturally wake up, they're well rested and they actually get their schoolwork done faster than if we try to force a different schedule by making them get up earlier. So this is something super helpful that we discovered after a couple years of homeschooling. You want to consider all the things that might work for you. And if you're new to homeschooling, we recommend a deschooling period as well. Homeschooling doesn't look like classroom schooling, and that is one of its beauties. So take advantage of homeschool flexibility and really analyze what is going to work in your home. If you start now in the spring, you're going to have plenty of time to figure that out before your next school year starts without getting stressed about it. Your kids also may have stronger opinions now because they're in the middle of their current school year. So are they struggling to get through certain pieces of their school day? If so, that may provide a good starting point for one or multiple of the things that you want to modify next year. But if your child is breezing through some things, you might want to challenge them a bit more in the upcoming year. So this is a great time in the spring to see what they're still excited about. And you can really gauge their interests. Are they interested in learning about certain topics, or do they learn better in a different way? So are they a visual learner or a kinesthetic learner? You can evaluate this now and discover what they really like to learn about. So for example, I have one child who loves to read and I give her all the books I can. She is not typically satisfied with just one book on a subject that she's interested in, but she really wants to dive deeper and read multiple books about those things that she's into. So we are always prepared to head to the library or to research something deeper if needed. Then my other child loves to draw and design things. He's definitely more of a hands-on learner. So watching videos and working with his hands gets him excited about the subject and allows his creative mind to really absorb information. While I use Sunlight with both of them, I do modify how I teach it to each of them to go along with those interests in learning styles. And I'm always willing to add in things that they will find particularly interesting or enjoy learning about. So when I have my plans organized in advance, it's going to make scheduling and supplementary activities easier. So maybe if we want to incorporate a special field trip in, or get more books about a certain thing they're going to be studying in the upcoming year, it's very helpful to know, are we studying world history? Are we studying American history? What things are we learning about in science, so that I can incorporate those supplementary activities into their learning for the year. Another thing that I like about planning early is that you don't have to make any serious decisions in the summertime when you'd rather not. So whether you travel in the summer, or you like to swim, or spend days, going to summer camps or doing other leisurely summer activities, you can relax because you know that you're ready and prepared for the next year. So you can put all of next year's school plans out of your mind. And this also offers you the flexibility of starting school whenever you want to. There's no last minute back to school rush, And that's going to allow you to ease into the next school year if you like. You don't have to plan, okay, we're starting on this day and we're doing an entire school day, because you can start doing some of your school stuff a little earlier and take a more relaxed schedule at the beginning of the year. If you've got everything ready to go, you just open up and start teaching when you're ready. And you're not going to have to wait for your curriculum to arrive in the fall because you already have ordered it. Something that I like to do, maybe if it's a rainy day or when we're not really doing anything else, is to start one book or maybe two. And this gives you some cushion to take days off during the school year. So if you have unexpected visitors coming to town, or an opportunity to go somewhere, or you want to add in some of those supplementary activities, you're not going to feel behind later because you had the option to start the school year earlier and just pick up and choose the days you did some schoolwork. So especially with Sunlight, which is a literature-based curriculum, picking a book off the shelf to read is something fun that your kids may not even see at school. So you can actually get a jump start by having them start their school early without realizing it. So that is something that we like to do, especially with the literature portion of our learning, sometimes early in the school year. Also, spring is a great time to plan because you can get all the best offers or deals on your curriculum for the upcoming year. So if you are worried about how expensive your curriculum is going to be, or you just want to make sure that you get the best offers in the spring, now you have plenty of time to really maximize your savings. So here at Sunlight, we like to roll out our new products at the end of March or beginning of April. So because of this, you can always get our steepest discounts in March and our longest payment plans. If you are unaware, Sunlight does offer payment plans where you can pay for your curriculum over 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. But in order to get the 12-month payment plan, you have to order in March. So while we do promotions throughout the year, if you are looking for the best time to buy everything, you're going to want to be ready in the spring so you can make the most of all of those deals and savings. The spring is also a great time to plan for your upcoming year because you can get all of your questions answered early. You're not going to have this panicked feeling once you start teaching and realize you don't know what to do if you start planning a few months ahead. So at Sunlight, we have advisors who of course can answer all of your product questions, but they do so much more than that. They'll actually discuss your family's needs with you and offer suggestions to help you plan what's going to be best for your family, whether you want to combine them in some subjects or if all of your kids are doing separate tracks. They can really explain those options to you, and that way you have plenty of time to consider it before your fall school year starts. And while our advisors are available all year long, if you ask them all of your questions prior to starting out the year, you can confidently get going on your first day of the school year because you know exactly what to do. It also gives you more time if you think of a question 2 or 3 months later. You still, again, have plenty of time to do that before you get started teaching in the upcoming year. Also, in today's world, we know that things can be very unpredictable, especially in the last few years, which is part of the reason that homeschooling's popularity has really soared recently. And you don't want things like supply chain issues, inflation, or anything else preventing you from a smooth school year. So when you figure out your plan early and order your curriculum early, you have plenty of time to receive those materials. So you're much more likely to avoid delays or backorder issues when you have several months before you need that curriculum. So Sunlight is very open and go anyway because we have those instructor's guides that tell you exactly how to teach the books you're reading. But if you like to prep anything like school supplies or storage solutions, you'll know exactly what you need because you'll have your materials in hand. It's often hard to determine how much shelf space you're going to need for an upcoming year if you don't have your books in front of you. But if you've already ordered your curriculum in the spring, then you can see exactly how much storage space you're going to need and what school supplies you may need to have a smoother school year. So speaking of organization, when you already have all of your school materials in your home, you're ready to organize, file, and close out your current year, and you already have your new materials there ready to put in their place. So this is something, whether you're somebody that loves organizing or not, you can have one big organizational event where you put away your end of the year materials, when you finish out your current school year, and then replace them immediately with your new materials. Or if you get overwhelmed at the idea of a big organization event, you can do it little by little throughout the end of spring and summer so that it's not going to be a stress-inducing thing. But at the very least, you don't have to worry about putting away materials at the end of the year to just come back a few months later and put out a bunch of new materials, because you've already got everything, and it makes that process so much smoother and easier to transition. So I started a few years ago with ordering and planning for my kids' next school year in the spring, and it really does alleviate that headache and that stress of the next year. So if you're a homeschool parent, you know that planning for your year is so important to make sure it goes smoothly and to make sure you're meeting your state's requirements, or if you have high schoolers, their graduation requirements. So start thinking ahead now and don't cram everything in at the last minute when it can be avoided. If you'd like more information about Sonlight specifically and how it can work for your family, check out our website at sonlight.com. You can read all about what we offer there, as well as watching videos and getting access to resources that will help you learn more. We also invite you to join our Sonlight Connections community in our Sonlight app or on Facebook. There you can pose questions, post your photos, and communicate with other Sonlighters. So it's a great place to get ideas and suggestions that you may want to incorporate into your homeschool. You can also receive support and encouragement from other homeschool parents who know exactly what you're going through, which can be kind of hard sometimes if you live in an area where you don't know a lot of other homeschoolers. So we have our community online for you so you can connect with other people that know exactly what you're going through and get great ideas and suggestions from them. We also highly recommend an advisor consultation to help you identify exactly what's going to work best in your home. They will discuss with you, the ages of your children, the things you want to study, and then give specific recommendations for your family. This is a free service we provide. So if you go to sonlight.com, you can find easy ways to connect with our advisors and they can help you out. It's also super easy to place your order online so that you can get things ready to go in plenty of time. So then when your next school year rolls around, you're ready to pull out your materials and just start teaching. So happy homeschooling, and as always, if you have questions, let us know. At Sonlight, we love to help you homeschool, and we know that you're ready to get started on an exciting adventure with your kids. So whether you're already homeschooling now or next year is going to be your first year, make sure you're ready and prepared, and at Sonlight, we can help you out. I'm Sunny. Thanks for joining me today.